In a video that I released a little while ago, I told you guys how to use the inspector panel and some of the tools that it offers to you. But I've realized since then that if those are the only ways that you know how to make those changes, your videos are not going to be as good or as professional looking as they could be when you need them to. The inspector panel is mostly good for fast and easy edits that look like fast and easy edits. If you're willing to spend a tiny bit more time in the actual edit, you'll be able to get a lot better results with adjustment layers. Adjustment layers are incredibly powerful. So if we look in our inspector panel, like we were talking about before, and we have a video clip selected, we have all of these zoom properties and position properties and really just a ton of properties, but a big issue when we use these is that you can't make them smooth. So if I wanted to zoom this, right, so from here, I'll keyframe it, and then I'll go forward a little bit, and then I'll zoom it in. So at that point, it starts to zoom in. But it's very rigid and it comes to a hard stop. That doesn't look the best. If we want to make that look better, we're going to need to come into our toolbox, grab our effects, and pull out an adjustment clip. We'll put that on top of there and make it the length that we want it to be for what we need it to do. So we want the zoom to take place right here and continue to the end of this clip. So we'll go ahead and select our adjustment clip, get our playhead to the beginning, and we'll pop into Fusion, and I'll show you how we can do the same zoom, a little bit more time spent with a much nicer looking result. So we have our media in and our media out. We're going to click on our media in and add in a transform node. Now we have the same controls over here. We've got center, we've got size, angle, the same stuff, but the thing that we have here that makes a difference is this spline editor. So if we take the beginning of this and we're gonna just go ahead and keyframe that size, and then we'll skip a little ways ahead, about halfway through, and we'll make that size bigger, zoom in on some of that ice. Then we watch it back, we'll see that it looks the same as what we did in the inspector panel. But if we take our spline editor down here, zoom out a little bit so we can see both of these points, make a box over them, so they're both selected, and then right click on one, we can click on smooth. And you'll see that that changes that straight line to more of an S. Now see if you can notice the difference between our first zoom and this second zoom that we just made. You see how it kind of slows down at the end as we're getting closer, and it kind of ramps out of the beginning? I'll show you again so you can kind of get a feel for it. And then if we don't have that, this is what it looks like just as a straight line again. Rigid. That S-curve in your spline editor is going to give you much smoother looking results, and it doesn't take too much extra time to get a much better looking effect, which is awesome. You can also use these adjustment layers to make transitions. So if we want to put this over these two right here, we'll hit Fusion, and actually right now I'll show you. If we watch this, it's just a hard cut. I haven't done anything to it yet. So we'll take our adjustment layer, hit Fusion. We're just going to do a blur transition so that I can show you how to do this. So we'll take our media in, which is going to actually change by the end of this clip now to the clip of the leaves instead of the clip of those dead, looks like maybe berries or flowers. So in that middle part right here, we're going to want to blur that pretty intensely so that we can come back out of that blur and have our leaves be the new shot. So since our media in contains both of these because we're using an adjustment clip, we'll just find a spot a little ways before where we want it to happen. We'll add in a blur node into our line here, and then we will keyframe the blur size, and then we'll find the frame where they transition one to the next. We'll keyframe it again, and then we'll come a little ways out, and then we will make another keyframe. On this middle keyframe here, we want that blur size to be increased to the point where you can't really see what's in there. So now if we watch this, we'll see that right here it starts to blur, gets really blurry, and then unblurs and reveals our new clip. So we'll go back into the edit page and we'll see what we just made. Boom, just like that, we have a blur transition from berries to leaves. Adjustment clips are ridiculously useful. You can add text to them, you can add different elements to them that you want to appear on screen. You can make one that goes over multiple clips. If you need to make some color changes, you can use them for that. So we'll click on it here and we'll go into Fusion again. If we get rid of the blur this time because we don't need it, we can add in this color corrector node, and then we can use this to change the colors of everything underneath that adjustment clip. So if we cut a chunk out of this adjustment clip here, hit play, it's not there, and then it is. because that adjustment clip is what's carrying the grade in this case. So any changes you make in an adjustment clip inside of Fusion are going to show up on the clips underneath them. So if you have a transition that you want to use a lot, or if you watched yesterday's video, you would have seen that little red box that I kept putting on things. That was an adjustment clip, and if you hold Alt and drag, you can literally duplicate them. So if you have the same box that you need to use for multiple things, or the same color grade for certain areas, or something that happens when like a character comes on screen, adjustment clips are a great way to do that in not too much time. I hope that you guys will start to use these in your edit, and I hope that they make your edits look all the more professional. Please let me know in the comments down below if you have any further questions about these adjustment clips, and also seriously make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss any of this stuff coming out about Resolve 17, because that should be super awesome and I'm really excited. That's it for today, and I will see you tomorrow.